different structures, and they have different meanings according to the structure that they appear in. And so when you say an example like, Peter has grown old, how would you analyze it? Or what would you say about grow? What kind of verb is it?
Intransitive.
It is intransitive, and it is a pseudo-copulative verb. You have to analyze it in the same way as quedarse, volverse, o estar. Grow does not assign. When they are pseudo-copulatives, they have a little bit of meaning, a little bit more meaning than copulatives, but that is not enough for them to have their own theta grid. So they don't assign theta roles, right? The theta role assigner is its complement. Again, all these verbs are followed by a small clause in which you have the predicative or the predicate and the subject. It's the same analysis for all these verbs. For become, for grow, for go. Go. The verb go is a verb of movement, typical verb of movement. Peter went to Brazil, blah, blah, blah. But not when it is followed by past participles and by adjectives, the meaning changes, right? So you say, this apple has gone rotten. This situation has gone unnoticed. In that case, go is very similar to become. It takes the meaning of become. And again, the analysis is the same. It is followed by a small clause in which there is a subject and a predicative. Come. Come is a typical verb of movement as well. Peter came to the house, but not here when I say my shoelaces came untied. Yeah. These verbs indicate a change of state. If you have, they don't have cause or do semantic feature, but all of them have in common the fact of, they all have a semantic feature in common, which is a change of state. Finally, get is, we started looking into get last class. Get married, get divorced, get lost. Notice that I have decided to use these verbs. They are pseudo-copulative verbs when they are followed by adjectives and participles, mainly. I have decided to use that kind of, because that is what they have in common. Some of them can be followed by noun phrases. I didn't include turn, but you can say turn, and he became, he turned traitor, for example. But all these verbs have in common the fact that they are followed by participles or adjectives as well. Get, as you saw, get has infinite uses. It's we saw this of got the screws out. As a revision, how would you analyze A? I got the screws out. Let's see, Pamela.
Yes, I would paraphrase it as I make or I count the screws out. Something like that.
I made. You said I made the screws out.
Yes.
You see, the paraphrase is only necessary if you cannot. What about the syntactic analysis of I got the screws out?
Got is a transitive verb.
Excellent. Got. Is it good? Continue. Sorry for the interruption.
Well, it selects two arguments, I and the screws.
Very good.
There is a small clause.
Okay. So what is
The
out?
screws out.
Very good. And what is out in that case? Why do you consider it a small clause, the screws out, if get has a lot of meaning? Because it selects arguments.
Yes. No, so it is not a small clause.
Okay. You have to account for your choice. I would say that out is relevant because it's a complement here. It's a locative complement. In this, the meaning of get here includes an object and then a locative, right? Out, into the station. They are all locatives. What did we say the meaning of get was here? I'm asking Sofia Pico.
Yes, it has like a similar meaning to remove.
Exactly. It's a verb of movement, and then you analyze semantically, applying all the features. It's a verb of movement. It's a verb. What semantic feature does get have here, Hector?
Isn't it cause?
Exactly. Very good. Very good. So get is a dynamic verb, is a eventive verb, and it has the semantic feature of cause, although it indicates movement. But it has this meaning of God because it means now Pamela, you can paraphrase and say, well, I made the screws be out, for example. A very strange paraphrase. Very good. Let's pass on to this one. Nick got tired, he got fat, they got depressed. I skipped one. Now I realize. I got ants in my room. What did we say about this get? Let's see. Hector again. I got ants in my room. Florencia is here. Good.
That expresses a state, could it be?
State. This is what we said. Very good. Who spoke?
Camila.
Camila? Camila Cifuentes. Fantastic, Camila. Exactly. What we said is that. And what about the syntactic analysis? What would you say about the syntactic analysis of get? So notice that where translators are always plunge into semantics first. And what we want is the other way about. Plunge into syntax and then to semantic analysis.
It's a transitive verb.
Exactly.
It
Yes.
selects a locative complement.
As well, that's it. It selects two arguments, a subject and an object, and it also selects a locative. In the locative.
I got a question. In this case, we have seen what I have analyzed. He got blocks all over him, and we have seen yesterday that all over him would be more an adjunct than the locative.
In where?
In 4. So why in that case would be an adjunct?
No, it's not an adjunct, it's a complement.
Okay.
Because he got blood does not mean, he got blood, maybe he brought it from somewhere else. Sure. I bought, suppose I'm a vampire and I have blood in the refrigerator. Say I have blood, but that's not the meaning of get blood here. He got blood all over him means está lleno, tiene la sangre en sí mismo, en su cuerpo. O sea, no, I don't agree with that. It's a compliment.
Yeah, I know. That's why I got the question, because we have concluded yesterday that it was an adjunct, so I got it out.
No. In this use of the verb get, because it changes the meaning. In I got blood means, sure, I bought it somewhere else, it's not my blood. But if I say I got blood all over me, it means that it's my blood. It's different. It's different. And in these sentences, what we see is that there is co-indexation. That's why the locative is so important, right? And what we said also is that the verb is transitive, and there is a locative complement, and either in the locative complement or in the object, there is an element that refers back to the subject. And so there is co-referentiality with the subject. Co-referentiality means that, for example, in one, my refers back to I.
Repeat.
Co-referentiality. Correferencialidad sería. Co-referentiality. Because if my refers to Pepa, I is Pepa. So my refers back to the subject. And it's true that what we said about get, that it is stative. And what about the theta role of the subject? That is the last part.
Affected.
It's a theme.
It's a theme. Is it an agent? No, it's not
No.
an agent. That is the important thing. It's not an agent. And I also spoke about unintentionality. There is no intentionality here. If you want to paraphrase these sentences, what would you use? I got ants in my room.
I had.
¿Cómo?
Had.
Claro, have, or there is, or there are, right? Existence or possession. So you are using stative translations for this. You use stative verbs. Now you know why, because the original meaning of get in these sentences is stative. Bueno, hoy estoy tremenda. Chuck. Florencia, what can you say about Nick got tired? This is another get.
Yes, it's related to a copulative meaning. As we said with Juan quedó preocupado, the adjective, it's the predicator, and selects Nick as an argument.
Exactly.
It's incoative.
Why?
You can paraphrase it with become, because it's a like verb.
because it expresses change of state. Very good. What about the subject's theta role?
Sorry, Sylvia,
See?
I have a doubt. What would be the difference between incoative and become?
Now, when we are talking about features, some linguists speak about become feature, become, do, and cause, the be. On other people use incoative instead of become. So it's the same. When you are talking about features, some people use one term and some other people use other. For you, what is relevant? You stick to one term and use it all along. You cannot change it. You cannot use incoative in one case and become in another, right? Stick to one. I gave you synonyms because in the bibliography, in different papers, in different books, you may find one or the other. In one, you may find a change of state, in another one incoative, in another one become, but they mean exactly the same. They are talking about the meaning of the verb or one semantic feature of the verb.
Okay. I'm asking because in the partial, with my partner, we have written become an incoative, but you have said choose only one of them.
Yeah, that's why. Choose one or the other. Yes. Not everything together. That's it. That's it. Well,
It's the same.
they are the same, yeah, but one or the other. It's not that they are that you can put them all together. That's it. What about the subject? In Nick got tired. What theta role does Nick have?
Since it's a change of state,
Okay.
I think it's a patient.
Perfect, perfect. Patient or affected is okay. Again, patient or affected, but you don't put everything together, right? What I was going to say is that when get behaves as a pseudo copulative, get and all the others that we saw before, grow and become and go and come, when they are pseudo copulative, they are all unaccusative verbs, right? Because they are intransitive and they have a sort, one internal argument. Bien. Now we see this part. Doug got Sally arrested. Doug let Sally get arrested. Sally got arrested. Doug got the police to arrest Sally. In number 9, Evangelina, what can you say about number 9?
I would say that in that case, got. I don't know. Yesterday, I analyzed it yesterday. I don't want to open the document because I don't know if it will appear here or not, because I analyzed this yesterday.
Okay.
I would say that, can I begin by paraphrasing?
Yes.
The thing here is that Doug made the police arrest Sally.
So
right?
what does that tell you?
That tells me that it has cost.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Doug is
That
the agent.
this get is not like he got tired, right?
Yes.
In got tired, get had a become feature or a change of state feature. But in this case, this get has a cause feature. That's why you paraphrase it with make.
And Doug is the agent.
Doug is the agent, that's it. And Sally arrested is the whole argument, internal argument, or a small clause again, because it means Sally become arrested or be arrested. If you can include by the police, it means that this is passive voice. Passive voice in English can be passive voice in English can be achieved by using auxiliary be. Doug was, no, not here, sorry. I'm talking about 11 already, no, forget. Erase, delete. I was advancing on to 11. So Doug got Sally arrested. Sally arrested, that means that Sally be arrested, and that is the passive voice. There is passive voice in the small clause, in Sally arrested, because Sally is the object of arrest.
And if we had to say, I mean, syntactically, Sally arrested?
It's a small clause, again, the same as make. Make is always followed by a small clause as well. That is to say, a proposition that lacks inflection or lacks something else.
Okay.
But this proposition, this small clause, has a proposition in the passive voice. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes, that's what I wrote yesterday.
And in Doug, let Sally get arrested by the police. Now we see that get in 9 was transitive, whereas in 10 and 11, it is intransitive. And you have that Sally moved out of the small clause and precedes get arrested. What about 11? Sally got arrested by the police. Here, what I was going to say, this is a typical sentence in the passive voice. In English, you have two passive voice structures. You have be passive voice and get passive voice. What's the difference between be passive and get passive? Somebody? No. Okay. Ale dice, Sally in 10 is the external argument of get. A ver, para. Sally in 10 is the external argument of get. Sally in 10. No, Sally is not external. It's always internal. It's the internal argument of arrest, to tell you the truth, Ale. In all the sentences, Sally is similar to the last one. Sally is always the internal argument of arrest. Well, I don't know if you saw passive voice with get in any language course. It's very difficult to speak about get. I read a lot about get as an auxiliary of the passive voice. To begin with, we saw this last class when we spoke about the differences between be and get, and between get and auxiliaries. Get is different from be because it requires do support for negation and for interrogatives, and so it's different. Some people say that when I say some people, I mean some linguists believe that get has this idea of getting involved or doing something so as to be affected. Like Sally got arrested, probably she did something so that she became arrested. But this is not, there is no agreement as regards this, because you can say in the journey, all the lamps got broken and the parcel got lost, and there is no intentionality. That's so some people say that the subject in the get passive sentence has some kind of responsibility in the action. But this is contradicted by another argument in which they say that the argument is not always human. So you can say, I don't know, the parcel got lost, and so you have no intentionality there. What I believe is that the real difference is in get. What would you say get means here? What's the difference between Sally was arrested and Sally got arrested? I think it is related to what we saw before. Be is like neutral, does not say anything, does not say much. Let me see what somebody else says. No, ya lo contesté. Get expresses a change of state. That is the flavor, let's say. Whereas with be, you have neutrality, you are just saying what happened. With get always, when it is intransitive, expresses a change of state, when it is followed also by participle. So Sally got arrested by the police independently from whether she was responsible or not, whether she had intention or not. What I think you are indicating, or get indicates a change of state. Eso. Ahí voy, Ale. Ahí voy. Is the whole passive sentence in 10 or just Sally get arrested? In 10, very good, is Sally get arrested. What I wanted to show is that get behaves differently from let, for example. If you have a sequence of verbs that don't express much, get always goes at the end. Doug let Sally get arrested by the police. So the passive voice is only in Sally get arrested. Good. Let me see the second one. Thank you. No, it's all right. So in 11 is part of 10, right? Get would be a light verb then, Julieta. No, not here, because when get is a light verb, it is followed by certain kind of participles. Participles which are more stative. And this participle is arrest, eliminate, kill. They are more dynamic. That's why we talk about passive voice. Participles are not all the same. They may have ed, but when we talk about passive voice is only present when you have get or be followed by the past participle of a dynamic verb. Dynamic, causative, and so arrest is an action, it's a dynamic event. Totally different from worried, from old, from bored, that express states. You see? At this moment, we are making a distinction between stative participles and dynamic participles. In passive voice, you can only have dynamic participles. I don't know if this is clear. Yeah. In the last sentence, what we find is Doug got the police to arrest Sally. I just wanted to show that get in number 12 is followed by active voice. You have an infinitival phrase or a small clause, but in the active voice. You have the police, the external argument, arrest. You have the canonical order there. The police, external argument, arrest, the transitive verb, and Sally, the internal argument. He got tired, he got fat, there is a change of state. Exactly, Ale. When you say he got tired, he got fat, there is a change of state, very good, and get is a light verb there, exactly. Fíjate que cuando get es un light verb, podés traducirlo utilizando un the adjectival verb. He got mad, enloqueció. He got tired, se cansó. Pero en Sally got arrested, no podés decir, no sé, porque arrest no es un adjetivo, no tiene valor de adjetivo. Es una acción. ¿Cómo se traduce Sally got arrested?
Arrestaron a Sally.
Camila, ¿cómo dijiste?
Sally fue arrestada.
Sally fue arrestada o también podés pasarlo a la activa, ¿no? Alguien dijo...
Arrestaron a
sí, en el plural, arrestaron a Sally. La activa en plural va perfecto, sí, sí. Sí. Y en la última, Doug got the police to arrest Sally.
¿Hizo que la policía?
Sí, no queda otra. Hizo que la policía arrestara a Sally. Lo único que cambió es que mientras en inglés tenés el infinitivo, en español tenés subjuntivo. O sea que se conjuga el verbo. Y aparece un complementante, bueno, todo eso. Bien. Y yo creí que iba a poder hacer todo. Bueno, vamos a identificar algunos usos de quedar, pero no sé si vamos a hacer todo. Se quedó contenta. Dice, identify similarities with get. What meaning does quedar have? Okay. En se quedó contenta, what's the meaning of quedar? O quedarse.
No sabría parafrasearlo, pero parece como el resultado de algo.
Bien, bien. Hay un resultado y hay seguramente, puede ser que haya cambio también, puede ser. Se quedó conforme, ahí se ve más claro, ¿no? Que algo pasó y como resultado se quedó conforme. Bien. O sea que hubo un cambio de estado también, en quedar, estamos hablando en quedar. El resultado está en contenta, en conforme, y quedarse expresa más el cambio de estado. Bien. La ciudad se quedó vacía, es lo mismo. Se quedaron preocupados, se quedaron cansados, enojados, sorprendidos. Todos estos son participios estativos, que no implican un argumento externo, un agente. Y ahora fíjense, 5 y 6, ¿qué tienen en común?
Cos.
Cos. ¿Y dónde está la cos? Where is the feature? Where is the feature of cos?
It's omitted.
Hmm?
Omitted. It's omitted.
It's omitted. No, I think that the cause is in the verb, in the eliminados. Quedaron eliminados means somebody caused them to, to disappear from the competence. And y quedó arrestada, somebody arrested her. So the cause is inside the participle. And these participles select an external argument, eliminados y arrestada. So how would you say this in English? Quedaron eliminados de la competencia.
As we got.
¿Cómo?
We got.
They
We got out.
Pero cuando vos decís they got out, parece que lo hicieron ellos porque quisieron.
They were.
Tienes que usar pasiva.
Claro.
¿Se entiende?
Sí.
Acá una opción es, creo que es la única, they were, eliminar, no sé cómo se dice, eliminar de una competencia, ¿alguien sabe?
They were taken out.
Ahí
of the
está, bueno, ponele que fuera esa. They were taken out. They were, Ezequiel.
No, maybe the other word can be disqualified, but
Ah, está, bueno,
it
ponele.
doesn't mean.
Sí. Podría ser, pero fíjense que están usando verbos que son transitivos. Eso es importante para mí. Están usando verbos, primero que cambiaron quedar por were, que ya te da una pauta de que esto es voz pasiva. Y los verbos son verbos dinámicos con una feature de cause y que involucran un external argument y un internal argument. ¿Quedó arrestada? ¿Cómo sería?
She got arrested.
Sí. Vuelvo sobre mis pasos. Cuando dijo Evangelina got, o sea, lo importante acá es que es pasiva, no importa si usas be o get, pero es pasiva. Eso. Podría ser, a lo mejor hay alguna expresión con get que a mí no se me ocurre, pero tanto 5 como 6 son pasivas en inglés. Pasiva con be o pasiva con get.
I thought there was a difference. I mean, if we used get or the passive with be, I thought there was some kind of semantic implication.
Probably. I have done some research on this topic. The only thing I found was that get still has this meaning of change of state in the passive. Only that. Only that. Bien. Bueno. Y ahora un repasito recortito. A ver, Julieta, ¿cómo traducirías me quedé en casa?
I stayed at home.
¿Por qué? chicos, vienen por mí, vienen por mí. Siempre pasa algo a esta hora. ¿Por qué state, Julieta? Está bien lo que dijiste. Ay, che, no me peiné especialmente para esta ocasión. What is the feature that quedarse has in 7? Is it a pseudo-copulative here? ¿Me quedé en casa?
Yeah. Like,
It's not a pseudo-copulative because it doesn't express change of state. It's not a pseudo-copulative verb. Quedar, as all the verbs, is a polysemous. It has lots of meanings. It all depends on the structure where you place it. And here, it is followed by a locative. See, Evangelina?
It's B.
It's B. It's the same as B. It indicates state. Es como estuve en casa. That's why you translated it perfectly well with stay.
You have said that in the case of stay, like estar, it will be a pseudo-copulative. That's why I said that. And maybe I
No. What I said is that the verb estar is a pseudo-copulative. Sí. Pero acá vos no tenés estar. Tenés me quedé en casa. Déjamelo pensar. No es estuve, yo no te di la oración estuve en casa, te di la oración me quedé en casa. El punto acá es que quedarse puede ser change of state, si está seguido de participios y de adjetivos, o puede ser un verbo estativo, como me quedé, no sé, en casa toda la tarde, por eso puedes decir eso, ¿sí? Perfecto. Y además de stay, in that case, you can paraphrase it, you can use remain. I remained at home. Y en me quedé caminando, how would you translate it?
I kept walking.
Excellent, excellent. I kept walking. Why?
Because it implies that you were already walking and maybe someone left, but you kept walking.
And what feature does quedarse have in that sentence?
Stay? I don't know.
It is related to your paraphrase, to your translation. It is, if it indicates kept on, if you used kept on and all that, this means that there is an aspect here, continuity, progression of the action.
Do?
What?
You would say that is do?
No, because it's not activity in itself. Does not express an action. It's not like jump, like work, swim. This exercise, I put it just to make you see all the meanings that quedar has. And that is, in queda lejos, fíjate acá, ya quedar es otro quedar. No es el mismo, cuando está seguido de distancia, es otro quedar. How would you translate queda lejos?
It's far.
It's far away.
Yeah, it's far away. It is 3 blocks from here. Pero totally stative. Queda lejos. There it has a be feature very clearly. Y esta, sos muy quedada. What can you say about quedada there?
Sorry, Sylvia, innate
Yeah.
would be also?
Probably, yes. Be or continuation, I would say progression or continuation of the action. No es be como, it's not be like in 7. It's different. In me quedé en casa, that is be, stay, remained, and all that. It's just state. Pero me quedé caminando, it's like I kept on, like one of the girls said. I think it was Camila.
Me quedé en el estado de caminar, no.
¿Cómo?
Me quedé en el estado de caminar, no. Porque no es un estado, es una actividad.
Ahí está, es una acción. Es más como un indicador aspectual, de aspecto progresivo. Me quedé caminando por ahí. Qué difícil. La traducción de esto, no sé, fíjense que ni la pregunté. Ah, sí, dijeron I kept on. Sí, podría ser kept on. Pero, ¿y esto sos muy quedada? ¿Vieron? Eso, lo que yo quería mostrar es la complejidad en un verbo tan estúpido como parece quedar, que a nadie se le ocurre estudiar, solamente a mí. Que quedar, acá lo vemos, que la raíz de qued aparece attached to an adjective, porque quedada is an adjective, right? And it is preceded by an adverb of like very, but it is an adjective. And what does quedada mean? Have you heard that? Because I don't know if it is from...
Like maybe distracted, like you get behind.
Ah, okay. Quedada means, somebody translated this, because I use these examples at the UBA, and they all, it was a postgraduate course, and they all had problems here. And so, sos muy quedada, somebody said, you lack initiative. Well, okay. It's a possibility. But what I'm using, what I want you to see is the flexibility of Spanish. In English, you don't have this possibility of playing so much, I think, with the words. ¿Se les quedó el auto?
It broke down. Stopped suddenly.
Okay. But you see that you don't have all the hues of meaning that you have in Spanish. In Spanish, you have two clitics. You have se, a él, no, se del auto. And les, a ellos les pasó, ¿no? So you have two clitics, and then quedar here has, se les quedó, el auto, se les quedó, se le quedaron los autos. El auto es el sujeto. Very difficult. But in English, you solve it very easily because you can say the car broke down or stopped suddenly, okay. Y fíjense esto, dicen que el preso se les quedó. Died on them. Se les quedó. O sea, they were torturing him, they were doing something to the prisoner, and all of a sudden he died on them. The important thing is to see the structures. I mean, the meaning is the result of the structures. Bien. 8. En 8 queda lejos, B es B, no 8, perdón. Me quedé caminando. I would say that quedarse there is followed by an action. And quedarse there means like keep on, continue, progression, If you want to say that it has a be feature, it's all right, because that is the meaning. Somebody else wanted to say something else? Profe, entonces, ¿cómo queda la 8? Ah, digo la 10, pero che. Sos muy quedada. The important thing here is that quedar now has become an adjective. And so one of the possible translations is you lack initiative, you are not very dynamic. But I wanted to show quedar in different structures. That's it. Bien. The last thing I'm going to show, I'm going to go back to one. There are two things and I finish. Bien. A ver, espera. We go back and I just want you to know. En se quedó contenta, we have. ¿Qué pasó acá? Oops. I'm going to wait just a second. I don't know what I touched and everything disappeared. Okay. In number one, what we see is quedarse with the clitic. And can I omit the clitic? Can I say quedó contenta?
Yes.
Perfect. Can I say quedó conforme?
Yes.
Good. Can I say la ciudad quedó vacía?
Yes.
Quedaron preocupados, quedaron cansados, bla, bla, bla.
Yes.
Bien, hasta acá tenemos que el se, the clitic can be omitted or not, but it's grammatical, no possibility. Look at number 5 and number 6. Can I insert the clitic? Can I say se quedaron eliminados de la competencia? Chao. Se quedaron o se quedó arrestada? Can I say that?
No.
So what I found is that when quedar is followed by a passive participle, se is impossible, is ungrammatical.
Wait, in 5 also, because I have heard
What have you heard?
se quedaron eliminados.
It's dialectal. In my dialect, I would never say that. You know something, I almost got a shock here because I'm from Buenos Aires, and so here I heard se quedó embarazada. And for me that was, oh my God, it cannot be like that. And there are some dialectal variations, but in general, when you have passive voice in English, it's impossible to insert se.
Sorry, can you repeat again when you say that when quedar is followed by a participle?
Passive participle.
Passive, okay.
Passive participle means that this participle has an external argument implied. There is somebody performed the action. O sea, en quedaron eliminados de la competencia, no es que ellos quisieron y ellos se dejaron a sí mismos eliminados, sino que alguien los eliminó. Entonces eso es pasivo, es un participio pasivo. No es un participio dinámico, no es un participio estativo, como en se quedaron preocupados. A ellos les pasó, ellos se quedaron preocupados. Entonces, to show that these participles are different, we can use se as an indication that se is ungrammatical here, makes the sentence ungrammatical. Bien.
Sorry, Silvia. So we have seen stative participle, dynamic participles, and passive participles.
No, dynamic, I used dynamic participles as passive participles. Very good. The observation is very good. If you want to make it like clearer, we can make a distinction between agentive participles and non-agentive participles. Maybe that helps much more.
Yes, please.
Okay. Agentive participles are like eliminado, arrestado, son todos los de pasiva, porque requieren un agente, un argumento externo. Fíjense, preocupado, cansado, enojado, sorprendido. Está el C es posible, entonces estos no indica que hubo un agente que realizó algo, sino que estás diciendo que les pasó a ellos, ¿sí? Pero quedar es seguido de un participio agentivo cuando el verbo es causativo y dinámico. Por ejemplo, las leyes quedaron aprobadas. Nunca podrías decir las leyes se quedaron aprobadas, porque ellas no intervinieron. O quedó expulsado. No es se quedó expulsado. ¿Sí?
In that case, they would be non-agentive.
Sí, agentive. When, a ver, volvemos para atrás. A participle is agentive when an agent is involved. When there is, maybe you don't mention who performed the action, but there was somebody implied in the action. Like quedaron arrestados. Somebody arrested them. You are not mentioning the agent, but there is an agent implied in the action. Well, the last thing we are going to do, I want you to analyze these sentences. I'll give you 2 minutes and I come back. Chun, chun, chun. Okay. What have you concluded about these sentences? Cocinaste el pollo seco, doblaron el papel chiquito, me teñiste la camisa de rosa.
That somebody performed the action.
Sorry. Yes?
That somebody performed the action.
Yes, because you have subjects which are null subjects in Spanish, pro-drop language, right? And what else?
It's a change of state.
The very good. There is a change of state. What else? I mean, what has whose state has changed?
The internal argument.
What?
The
internal argument. Okay. The internal argument state has changed. Very good. So, el pollo has changed, el papel state has changed, and la camisa has changed. Okay. And what about seco, chiquito, rosa? What does the adjective express? Chan, chan, chan,
The
chan.
characteristic of the
I didn't hear.
The characteristic of the object of the internal argument.
Yes, but it is a characteristic.
A result.
It's the result of the action. Lo cocinaste. Cocinaste el pollo seco significa que lo cocinaste de manera tal que lo dejaste seco. ¿Se entiende? No, esto no tiene, it's ambiguous because it can be that the chicken was already dry and you cooked it, right? But this is not the meaning I want you to analyze. The idea is that, yes, Evangelina, what?
Are they resultative constructions? No.
Exactly. Bueno, this is my hypothesis.
Sorry.
There are very few resultative constructions in Spanish. Are they weak or strong resultative constructions?
Weak.
They are weak. I mean, strong resultative constructions are unavailable in Spanish, but we do have some weak resultative constructions like this one. There are more examples. This is what I study in my dissertation. But it seems that in Spanish, I didn't prepare anything else because this was what we're supposed to be the last one. But although there are very few resultative constructions in Spanish, that doesn't mean that they don't exist, as Talmi said. Remember that Talmi said, in Romance languages, there are no resultative constructions. No, they are not exactly the same as the English ones. They are different. Some of them are very similar, like these ones. But it seems that, at least in Spanish, the resultative constructions are very productive if you use participles. Like, for example, fundieron al país bien fundido. Nos engramparon bien engrampados. etc. El participio, the participle in these constructions has to be non-agentive, of course. For you to have a resultative construction, the result has to be a state. Therefore, it cannot be agentive. I won't ask you about this, so don't worry. I'm just giving you more information.
Silvia,
Yes.
I've got a doubt. So the features change of state and result is different? Or
Yes. Yes. They are different. You have change of state in...
el pollo?
Bueno, no es que tengas el pollo es el que cambió, es el argumento interno cuyo estado cambió, ¿no? Pero no, está bien la pregunta que me hace Julieta, porque podría ser que seco es el cambio de estado, pero a su vez es el resultado. Es el resultado. Cuando hablamos de resultado, estamos hablando del resultado de qué? De una acción. Cuando estamos hablando de cambio de estado, estamos hablando de un argumento cuyo estado cambió. Pero en resultado estamos diciendo, bueno, lo cocinaste de manera tal que el resultado es que quedó seco, ¿no? Doblaste el papel de manera tal que lo dejaste chiquito. Está bien la pregunta.
So the change of state or result feature would be in the adjective.
Claro.
Okay.
Claro.
And the verbs would have the feature cause.
Cause or manner. Because cocinar, bueno, cocinar is, yes, you have the, you know how you achieved the change of state in the chicken. You have both. You have cause and manner. Bien. Any questions?
No entendí esa última parte que discutieron.
La última parte, a ver. Lo que me preguntaba Julieta era, creo, a ver, Julieta, corregime. Si seco, chiquito o rosa expresan cambio de estado o resultado. Eso me preguntaste.
Claro,
Entonces,
porque a veces la leemos y dicen que uno es cause o que uno es resultado y pensé que eran distintos.
está bien lo que decís. Cause está en el verbo, nos olvidamos. Cause y manner están en los verbos de estas tres oraciones. Bien. Ahora, cuando hablamos de cambio de estado, nos estamos focalizando más que nada en el argumento interno, porque es el que cambió de estado, ¿sí? Podés decir que seco es cambio de estado, pero si decís que seco es cambio de estado, también hay que agregarle que es el resultado de la acción cocinar. O sea, está bien. Vos podés decir que seco indica cambio de estado y resultado, pero las dos cosas aplican a distintos constituyentes. El resultado es el resultado de una acción previa. Eso lo dice Bosque, Bosque, Di Tulio, un montón de gente dice result o resultative state is the result of a previous action, of an action that took place before.
Si dijeras hiciste el pollo seco, no sería resultative, que no tiene manner.
Ahí está. Es causativa nada más. Excelente, excelente. Exactamente. Sí. ¿Y el pollo? ¿Quién quería preguntar?
Listo.
Sí. ¿Y el pollo qué?
Claro.
¿Qué querés saber del pollo? ¿Es el argumento interno? ¿Es el objeto directo? ¿Es el constituyente cuyo estado cambia? A medida que la acción, a medida que la acción progresa, el estado del pollo va cambiando. ¿Sí que decías?
Ah, sí, sí tendría semantic feature, entonces no.
No, porque las semantic features las aplicamos en los predicators, más que nada. En realidad tiene feature, pero es inanimado, minus human, minus animate. Ah, no, bueno, qué difícil, acá es minus human. It was animate when it was alive, but now here is inanimate.
Okay.
O sea, when we apply all the features that we have learned throughout the course, were features related to verbs mainly. And we saw features, not in nominal case, nominal features mainly in connection with plus bound, plus or minus internal structure. And we also saw the feature of definiteness for articles. Bien. Any other question?
Not today, probably next Friday.
Bueno. Entonces, a ver. Yo quería volver acá. Tell me with lexicalization patterns to show you that, well, the division of languages that he makes is a binary distinction that does not allow us to see what it is that, because his point of comparison is the English language or the Germanic languages, right? And so that kind of distinction does not allow each language to see what it has. Because maybe, and this is the point, we don't have as many resultative constructions as the English language, but we do have resultative constructions, which are not exactly the same. We prefer to express resultativity by means of participles, for example. And so each language has this possibility of analyzing what means, what tools it has to express the same idea. That's all. Bien. What did we see today? What did you learn today? Let's see, Sofía Pico.
Yes, we learned about pseudo-copulative verbs.
Can you mention examples of pseudo-copulative verbs?
Get, become, grow.
Excellent, excellent, very good. Here we have the pseudo-copulative verbs, and in Spanish, similar pseudo-copulative example verbs. Who remembers?
Quedarse, volverse, ponerse o estar.
Bien, bien. Quedarse, volverse y ponerse, que son los más parecidos a get. Bien.
Sorry, what is the external argument? What is the thematic role of external argument with pseudo-copulative?
Es que pseudo-copulatives don't have external
Don't have
arguments.
it. Ah, okay,
Don't
okay,
have.
okay.
They are an accusative, remember?
Yes, sorry.
No, it's all right. A ver. We saw different types of get with the revision. Yeah. What did we learn about get today?
It's a complex verb.
Yes, yes, very complex verb. But today, what I added is get followed by an agentive participle or a passive participle. Today we saw get, as in the example of 9, in that got Sally arrested, expressing cause. Get expressing cause with an external argument. And in 11, no external argument because this is passive voice directly. Sally got arrested by the police. You can also use get followed by a passive participle or agentive participle. That is passive voice. In 12, what we saw is get followed by the active voice, let's say, the same verb as before, but in the active voice, arrest, in the infinitive. And when you use it in the active voice, the external argument appears, the police. Yeah. What did we learn about quedar? Quedar y quedarse. What's the difference?
Cuando quedarle sigue un passive participle, has an external argument implied, y no usamos se.
Parecería perdón. There is a difference between it seems that the verb is always quedar, no quedarse. Es quedar. And when quedar is followed by an agentive participle, se is impossible. When is se possible? Well, when the following, the predicator, let's say, is related to a state. That is what we learned today. Julieta, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay. I thought you were going to say. Okay, okay. In these examples that I am sharing now, me quedé cansada, 7, 8, 9, the idea was to show you the different structures in which quedar can appear with different meanings, meaning stay, remain, be, quedar lejos, be, an adjective as part of an adjective. Se les quedó el auto, as a lexical verb like break down. Dicen que el preso se les quedó, meaning died there. Yeah. And finally, what we saw is these 3 sentences. Hector, what can you say about these sentences? Hector is not there. Pamela?
Yes, they are weak resultative constructions. There is a change of state and a result.
Okay. Where can you place the change of state?
In the object.
Excellent, very good.
And the result is in the secondary predicator.
Excellent, very good. And what can we say about this, the verbs, the main verbs or the main predicates, the primary predicate? Ay, qué bien, qué bien.
Sorry.
activity.
Sorry.
Yes.
Where it was the result?
In the secondary predicator. Seco, chiquito, rosa. It's the same as in English. In English, when you say he hammered the metal flat, flat shows the result. And I said, yes, somebody was going to say something, Evangelina.
Yes. Means
Florencia.
in the main verb, there is manner. There has to be
Excellent. Manner and
manner.
cause. If you don't have cause, you cannot have result, because the result is caused by the manner. We have to finish. We have to finish, and consult me, send me emails, or let's get in touch if you have further questions, right? Well, see you all and thank.
Yo quería preguntar cómo va a ser el parcial, porque no sé si me escuché o no estuve.
No, no dije nada. Unpredictable. No. Va a ser así de este tipo. Lo que vamos a tratar es que sea corto y que tengan varias horas para resolverlo. Así que va a ser individual, eso sí.
Friday or Thursday?
No sé, ¿qué prefieren? Let me know. O sea, you arrange it and you let me know. For me, it's indifferent.
O sea, lo que yo preguntaba era si vamos a tenerlo en el horario de clase o vamos a resolverlo durante el día.
Yo creo que les voy a dar el día. Creo que lo vamos a dar en el horario de clase, pero que tengan varias horas. Yo quisiera que tuvieran varias horas por las dudas. Que no haya conexión o que les pase algo o lo que sea. Y que sea para pensar. No algo mecánico. Eso seguro. Bueno.
Buenísimo.
Nos hacemos cualquier cosa, preguntan por el grupo o me mandan un mail. Como siempre, yo contesto.
Bueno,
Nos vemos,
profe.
Gracias, Evangelina.
¿Pongo el link directamente en el grupo?
¿La próxima decís?
No, ahora sí pongo el link de la grabación.
Claro, del recording, claro, directamente. Te agradezco mucho, Evangelina. Muchas gracias. Bueno, nos vemos. Bye, bye.
Chao, profe.
Thank you.
Chau, chao, gente amorosa.
Bye.
Bye, bye. Nos avisas.